Welcome in. This is your odds checker betting preview for this week's Mexico Open. I'm Rick Gehman, that right there, Geoff Fienberg. And Jeff, that's right. I said Mexico Open, not WGC Mexico. This is not that. This is a new event, a new course, and we kind of have to figure out the handicapping as we go along.
You sort of take a look at the field. It'll leave you speechless. Not in a good way. It does happen. There are so many weeks out here. It does feel like we might be piggybacking a few in a row. So that's sort of creating a bad vibe or taste in people's mouth. But if you don't believe Jon Rahm is all business, then maybe there's a real opportunity here.
Well, Jon Rahm, not only the favorite, Jeff, but the heavy favorite to win the Mexico Open. 3.5 to 1, plus 350. He was actually plus 400. Then Daniel Berger withdrew on Monday morning, and they bumped Jon Rahm down just a little bit further. There is no one else under 20 to 1, Jeff. So it is essentially odds makers saying Rahm is significantly the guy.
And I am still one of those people silly enough to believe he's, as good as his world ranking as of a month ago, Rick, which was number 1 in the world. Am I prepared to step in front of a plus 350? Probably rather just take a nap. I don't know, but I'll say that I do believe he's all business. He hasn't won officially since the US Open. Officially, unofficially, that Memorial thing is only something we can still reference in the moment because it's in those terms, it's kind of fresh. He's hyper aware of falling out of not just 1, but 2 in the world. There's still a full PGA cash prize available. I don't think he's there to hit and giggle or go on any sort of vacation with the wifey, leaving the baby at home, or maybe the kid's he's still an infant. So no, I believe he's all business, which makes you think, doesn't it?
I think he's all business as well, but this implies him winning this 22% of the time. Are there full field PGA Tour events that any golfer is going to win 22% of the time?
No, you're right. It's just not there. It's not pre-Tiger. He doesn't even have the statistical form of when he was that great. It's a total, even if you by shopping the number, Rick, you get it, 550, that still doesn't do it for me. As someone who is a big fan of his, if this is the week he gets off the mat, I don't know, wouldn't shock me. I'm running ice cold at the moment, so just put it out there. The things I prepare for at the start of the year, outright golf betting, gonna go 5-6 weeks. You're not gonna hit a winner, gotta be prepared for it. When I'm in the tornado, it doesn't feel very good.
Yeah, you have to remember what you told yourself at the beginning of the season and keep the head down. Well, let's talk about the guys in the 20s because there's a lot of them. Tringale, Woodland, answered not all at 20 to 1, 25 to 1. Tony Finau, Sebastian Munoz. Is this a more comfortable place to start your card, Jeff?
Yeah, I would say so if this is where you want to make your move, especially if you just don't believe or have the confidence your guy would have no problem taking down Rahm. There's a few of them. Finau, I do believe the stats are kinder than the results or the shot tracking. As a big Finau fan that I avidly follow a lot of the time, the statistics seem to show a kinder result than it seems like the perception of my round around follows. Answer the home event. Is he healthy? Sat out Valero, which was a big event for him. Obviously, even sitting out the Heritage, which he did sit out, correct?
I don't know that.
Yeah, he withdrew. I was going to bet him.
Yeah.
I was going to bet him, and he withdrew. And that's a course that's a perfect
that is correct.
Course for Abraham Answer. And I was happy to make that bet 30, 33, 35 to 1 on him at the Heritage, where I believe he has a top 5 finish. Anyway, there's a lot going on there health-wise, which creates question marks. So maybe it is Finau or Woodland if I made this move. And I'm tempted to make a move because, Rick, I am committed. The 30 to 50 just seems like the guys can win, but I'm having a blockade. I can't hit submit on any of the guys, and you can lead us into them, I guess.
Yeah, so the next set of golfers, Aaron Wise and Chris Kirk at 30 and 35 to 1, respectively. Patrick Reed is 40 to 1. Brendan Todd is 45. And then I'll just lump Doug Gehman here at 55 to 1, Geoff, before we get kind of to the next tier of golfers. These guys are guys I like in fantasy. These guys are like, hey, these are usually value golf. It's kind of different when you're asking them to win the golf tournament.
Yeah, and I got to say, at least keeping an eye on Odds Checker, that 40 for Reed is very kind. Seeing it in the mid-20s at some other places. I don't know if the game is there, but hopefully he's done screwing around. But yeah, this is just a range where, I don't know, I'd rather just bet a little more and pick a player I'm more comfortable betting, like the guys we discussed in those 20s. All of these guys seem like peak low numbers. Not to say we don't see that happen in these sorts of events before. And it's something that even, betting Golf Weekly, we see these guys at such bigger numbers that it's almost a deterrent, like, to see them at a number like this. And that is sort of where my head is at. This whole group of players. I like Aaron Wise a lot. I'm not betting them at 30 to 1. I'm not doing it. I'll just go farther back, get double the number for a guy I think has just the same win equity, which is pretty much zero.
Right. Well, let's talk about the guys in the 60s here. Streelman, Pan, Champ, Charles Howell III, 65. If you're interested in Adam Long, Nick Taylor, Matt Jones, or Grayson Sigg, who's that guy that's twice as long as Aaron Wise with just the same amount of win equity?
Okay, well, that's a great point. And honestly, Rick, in some of the earlier content I've already done on the Monday morning, some of the guys I'll name right now, there'd be people that say there's guys at 120 with just the same win equity. And I would have a hard time arguing it, but I'll start it off. Davis Riley, 70 to 1 over at DraftKings. In this range, they're sort of like younger players, be it a Riley, a Tagala. I'm almost suckered into wanting to bet on the ceilings that I believe are within the players, if that makes any sense to you. Or maybe I'm just being crazy, but you could go as far back as, Wyndham Clark and players north of 100 that have equal win equity to me touting a Davis Riley win.
It's kind of true. A lot of these guys are just the same player. I almost prefer the unknown entity of a Sahith or the unknown entity of Davis Riley. What are those guys going to become? What is Taylor Moore going to become? What is Chad Ramey, who already won at a tropical location? What is he going to become? So I agree with you. I'd feel much better about betting a 110 to 1 Austin Smotherman than 130 to 1 Brian Stewart, because I think I know what Stewart is. I might not know what Smotherman is.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And it can look bad. A lot of outright golf bets look kind of silly. That being said, in this range, it's kind of like you can take the Brooks Koepka. I don't mean the mental attitude, but the very comfortable throw a punch or a swing at a bet on a Cameron Champ, because he brings win equity, because this is a course we're being told is very long and potentially not as penal. Always frustrating when we go to a new course. I don't know past winners, which create a player, a player profile, winning scores, which allow me to feel like if a player can get to that score, if that score fits into his window that I create for myself, supported by the data most of the time, I hope. But Cam Champ is a guy, at least in this range, where we might not even be at the ceiling. He's at the same number as a lot of guys who have never won, Rick. And you could argue there's a potential course fit here.
Yeah, Cam Champ might be in store for his once-a-year victory coming up here this week. How far would you want to go? We talk about all these guys.
As far as you want.
Really?
Well,
I agree.
If you feel it, if you have a belief in a player, how could you not bet him? Like, if you believe a player is capable of something, you believe that a player has a ceiling, that how can I say you shouldn't bet him this week?
Yeah, there's just so many Guy X, Y, and Z in this field. I agree with you. I don't know how books decided between 101 and 180 to 1, but they did it. So if there's somebody that you like, let's fire away. This week, and we're still in that sprint major championship season. So does a week like this with no course knowledge, a favorite that is about as short as you could get, and a gap between him and the rest of the field, does that change how many guys, what type of action? Would you wait for a lot? Does it change anything about the way that you're going to actually wager on this?
Yeah. And not to throw in, I'm, feeling like I'm a bit of a cooler at the moment. I'm still lightly exposed. Unless I can make a case or find a case that I really do like a guy, and there are so few great players at the top that you could feel like you could sneak it in here. Maybe you're more inclined to bet like a placings bet, like a T10 or a T5, or if you like even going farther back, although those, you're anyhow, like that this can kind of get silly, but there are opportunities for those players. I don't doubt any of that, Rick, but my card, I'm hoping it's easy to say on the Monday that I'm going to have a light card. I really hope I do. That's the plan. Because I'm always afraid of Rahm, and there's nobody I'm running to make a bet on. I promise you that.
Jon Rahm, the heavy favorite to win the Mexico Open. We'll see how it all shakes out. You can find Geoff Fienberg on Twitter at GFienberg17. You can find me at Rick Run Good. This has been your Odds Checker betting preview for the Mexico Open. Good luck.